the Bronte sisters wanted to make money. They sold, well, they wanted to publish Emily Bronte's poetry. It was first thing out the door, it seemed like. Reading from Emily Bronte poetry, Sleep not, dream not this bright day. Sleep not, dream not this bright day, will not, cannot last for aye. Bliss like thine is brought by years, dark with torrent and with tears. Sweeter far than placid pleasure, higher, purer, higher, beyond measure. Yet alas, the sooner turning into hopeless, endless mourning. I love thee, boy, for all divine and full of God thy features shine, darling enthusiast, holy child, too good for this world's warring wild, too heavenly now, but doomed to be hell-like in heart and misery. And what shall change that angel brow and quench that spirit's glorious glow? Relentless laws that disallow true virtue and true joy below. And blame me not if when the dread of suffering clouds thy youthful head, if when by crime and sorrow tossed thy wandering bark is wrecked and lost. I too depart, I too decline, and make thy path no longer mine. 'Tis thus that human minds will turn, all doomed alike to sin and mourn, yet all with long gaze fixed afar, adoring virtue's distant star. Any comment? The battle has passed from the height. She's the poet. Emily Bronte wrote Wuthering Heights. Battle had passed from the height. Now we have a height. The battle had passed from the height, and still did evening fall, while heaven with its host of night gloriously canopied all. The dead around were sleeping on heath and granite gray, and the dying their last watch were keeping in the closing of the day. How golden bright from earth and heaven the sunny summer day declines, how gloriously over land and sea the parting sunbeam shines. There is a voice in the wind that waves those bright rejoicing trees. Not a vapor had stained the breezeless blue, not a cloud had dimmed the sun, from the time of morning's earliest dew till the summer day was done. And all are pure and all are bright, the beam of evening died, and pure still its parting light shone on Lake Elnor's tide. Waveless and calm lies that silent deep, in its wilderness of moors. Solemn and soft the moonbeams sleep upon its heathy shores. The deer are gathered to their rest, the wild sheep seek the fold. Only some spires of bright green grass, transparently in sunshine quivering. Does that sound like Wuthering Heights? I know they have sheep up there. AGA to AE. You know, what's that mean? AGA to AE. AE is Anne. I don't know who they are. The Lord of Elby on Elby Hill. The mist is thick and the wind is chill, and the heart of thy friend from the dawn of day has sighed for sorrow that thou went away. Lord of Elby, how pleasant to me the sound of thy blithesome step would be, rustling the heath that only now waves as the night gust over it blow. Bright are the fires in thy lonely home, I see them far off, and as deepens the gloom, gleaming like stars through the high forest boughs, glider they glow in the park's repose. O Alexander, When I return, warm as those heaths hurts my heart would burn. White as thine own my foot would fall if I might hear thy voice in the hall. But thou art now on a desolate sea, parted from Gandal and parted from me. All my repining is hopeless and vain. Death never yields back its victims again. Written on returning to the P of I on the 10th of January, 1827. How could she be very old at that age? How could that be? Maybe she's remembering the past. The busy day has hurried by, and hearts greet kindred hearts once more, and swift the evening hours shall fly. But what turns every gleaming eye so often to the door? And then so quick away, and why does sudden silence chill the room, and laughter sink into a sigh, and merry words to whispers die, and gladness change to gloom? Oh, we are listening for a sound we know shall never be heard again. Sweet voices in the halls resound. Fair forms, fond faces gather round, but all in vain, in vain. Their feet shall never waken more. The echoes in these galleries wide, nor dare the snow on the mountain's brow, nor skim the river's frozen flow, nor wander down its side. They who have been our life, our soul, through summer youth, from spring, childhood spring, who bound us in one vigorous whole to stand against tyranny's control, forever triumphing, who bore the brunt of battle's fray, the first to fight, the last to fall, whose mighty minds with kindred ray still led the van in glory's way, the idle chiefs of all. They are gone, not for a while, as golden suns at night decline, and even in death our grief beguile, foretelling with a rose-red smile how bright the morn will shine. No, these dark towers are lone and lorn, this very crowd is vacancy. We must watch and wait and mourn, and half look out for their return, and think their forms we see, and fancy music in our ear, such as their lips could only pour, and think we feel their presence near, and start to find they are not here, and never shall be more. That poem was called Written and Returning to the P of I on the 10th of January, 1827. And then we had read AGA to AI, and we had read The Battle. And we were reading Emily Bronte from the Every Man's Library Pocket of Poets. And she's the poet who wrote, she's the Bronte sister who wrote Wuthering Heights, 1818 to 1848.